Hi, everyone. It's Judy Ruth Meredith, your teaching therapist. And I just wanted to come on here today and talk a little bit about what happens after you leave and after you're moving on with your new life and you're starting to restore your joy and your happiness, and you are starting to um, pick up your new hobbies that you've always wanted to do when you're getting out of the difficulty of a toxic relationship where maybe a lot of those things were shut down. um, your joy was taken away. You weren't allowed to have fun. Ideas that you had about what you might have wanted to do with your life and with your partner were shut down in the name of saving money or other things. Maybe he just wasn't interested in doing that with you. Finally, when you get out and you get on the other side and you're starting to restore your joy and you're starting to grab onto that life that you really do deserve, there can be a grief and loss period of time that comes in there when you look back over what happened. Um, and a sense of self betrayal about, "Ooh, how did I allow that to happen?" When that happens, it's actually a very good thing because it says that you're waking up and you're understanding that the people that we bring into our lives and allow to stay in our lives are there because we brought them there and we kept them there. And when we start to become aware that it was all up to us the whole time and we had the key to get out of that and to make those changes, it can be a very devastating realization. And I don't want you to get too lost in that grief, because what happens for people is we go through life just living the best that we can based upon who we were taught to be in the world and how we thought things were supposed to go. And we were just doing what we thought was right at that time. And we weren't completely awake to the fact that we had the power and also the mandate to make some changes in our life, set some boundaries, and so that we could shine and be there for ourselves and others. So when we are talking to ourselves in our heads about what we allowed in our lives, we need to be gentle and forgiving and not punishing. So once we become aware, we want to look back at that person that we were and say, why did you do that? What were you thinking? How could you have allowed that? Um, Rather than being punishing in those ways, just talking to your inner self in a way that's more kind, and maybe saying something along the lines of, you did the best you could with who you were, and now is the time to grow. And I'm taking you with me into this new place, and you're going to get to shine and have joy as well. Because we take into our new life, every one of us at every age that we've ever been. And it's really important to honor those people within us and to love them and to support them and to reassure them that, when we know better, we do better. And that's why it's so hard to dig deep and make these changes and come to these awarenesses that it was us all along. That can hit really hard. Sometimes it's easier to just live in denial that, oh, all these terrible things were done to me. I was abused in my relationship, and I was mistreated, and I wasn't loved, and I was betrayed, and I was abandoned and neglected. And yes, those things were done. And no, you should not blame yourself for those things being done to you, but it is time to take responsibility for allowing those things to have been done to you. And that's really difficult to do because there is a grief and self betrayal issue or challenge that comes up with that. And we've got to work through that. So, in doing that, we want to always understand that we do better when we know better and when we become awake and aware of who we are and how we operate in the world, and we decide we want to make a change. We are going to have to look back on our decisions in the past and reevaluate those, and that can be a moment of reckoning. Where you don't want to go with this is into beating yourself up and punishing yourself and shaming yourself. That is not the place that you want to go. So you want to always be loving. The good on the good side, the upside of becoming awake and aware, even though it is hard to look back on what you allowed, the good side is you are now personally empowered to live a completely different life going forward, because you are awake and aware, and you're going to hold yourself and to a different standard, and you're going to hold other people in your life to a different standard. And when they can't make those standards, you can lovingly set a boundary that protects you and protects them as well from being enabled to behave in a way that is not healthy. So that's kind of my message today. Thanks for listening. If you like the message, please hit the like and subscribe button, and I will be back on here with more information and more talk. Bye.